It's our Relationship Friday conversation, and we've already started the conversation. Thank you for the messages that you've been sending to us, the comments that you've been sending to us, by the way. Now we're discussing the issue proper. We're talking about the power and place, and we've got comments. We're also talking about other issues related to this. There was something that I read yesterday which said that evidence suggests that most conflict occurs when the woman earns more, since both genders remain, for the most part, hardwired to believe that men should be the breadwinners. But we know situations are changing. We've been talking about this, but it's good that we're discussing this. Let me just introduce to you my guest who are seated, Reverend Daniel Ogwami Tetes with Databank Asset Management Services Limited. It's good to have you. Good morning, sir. Our own Mama Cathy is also here. She's CEO of Family Renaissance International. Good morning, Mama Cathy.
Good morning.
Good to see you. After the house help conversation, which came with a lot of feedback, positive feedback. Yeah, so thank you. It's always good to have you. Perhaps I want to start this way. Who is expected to earn money and who is in charge of spending it?
Well, I think in your introduction, you hinted on the fact that there's a change, there's a shift. I think traditionally, or back in the day, the man was seen as the breadwinner.
Yeah.
But I think given the changing dynamics, women are also economically empowered. And in some cases, women earn more than men, because now in the workplace, it's about merit, it's about competence, it's about, who can get the job done. So if a woman can get the job done, she'll get the position and she'll get the money that goes with it. So if you happen to be married to a high achiever, a lady who's a high achiever, it is possible that the lady can earn more. So for me, I will not say that it has to be the man or the woman earning more. I think that both of you, based on your unique talents and capabilities, you must make money, because money is critical in any marriage. So you use your skills, your knowledge, your experience, and you make as much money as you can make, honestly, of course.
Okay.
And, All right. It helps in managing the situation at home. So I think we have had a departure from that traditional man being the breadwinner. And indeed, if you even go to a number of the education institutions, when they're having their speech and prize giving days, you see how ladies are collecting their prizes. So clearly, ladies are coming up strong, and so we have to face the reality that they can earn as much as we do, or in some cases more than.
Okay.
And for me, I don't think that any man should feel threatened if your wife happens to be earning more than you. I think it's a blessing.
All right. Mama Cathy, it's fair if the woman is making more, but whose responsibility is it to be making the money for the family?
Both the husband and the wife. They'll have to come to an agreement on how the home will be managed. And that will demand their coming to put their resources together and then appropriating it depending on whatever they want to achieve as a couple. Marriage is a one union kind of relationship. Marriage is a union that the man and the woman, within the confines of the marriage that God instituted, not man, because man's ideology is making it look as if God had an issue with both parties. And so because of these divergent ideologies, that most of them are unfounded on the truth of God's word, who actually established marriage, it becomes a real problem. Like we're talking about the dynamics now, where the trend is such that women are also equally, gainfully employed. At the end of the day, marriage was supposed to bring two people, the husband, the wife, okay, through the changing trends and the changing dynamics, come to a place, bring the two of them to a place where they communicate. They communicate on how they want to manage their homes financially, and then they contribute. Because I don't see any reason, if I am working and I'm earning money, and then I saddle my husband with all the financial responsibilities at home, that will not allow me manifest the fruit of the Spirit, because there should be understanding. I'm not saying he shouldn't shoulder all, because every man is created with a level of pride. And so they want to shoulder much of the responsibilities. That's just how they are wired. No matter how much you earn, you don't throw it at the face of the man and make it look as if you're taking over and then, you know, pushing yourself down his throat. You're going to have him rebel, because the man needs to be respected, and respect will also come from the place you manage the blessings God has brought to you. So you sit down as two matured people and say, okay, we have this, there is utilities, there is school fees, there is this, there's this. How do we now bring our resources together so we meet this? And then at the end of the day, the he and the she will have their she money and the he money that you can now throw around yourself. So you don't really need, I believe it's basically having an understanding of what marriage is all about.
Okay. So Reverend, how do you become the head when you're sharing financial responsibilities equally? How do you then say that clearly I am the head of this family?
Well, if you're a Christian and you subscribe to what the Bible teaches, it's clear that the man is the head of the relationship, because there has to be order. God is a God of order. It's not a God of confusion. So for there to be order, there has to be a head of any entity. And according to what he has said to us in his word, the man is the head of the relationship. So whether you are making more money than your husband or not, the woman must recognize that the man is the head of the organization. And I can liken this to any corporate entity. You may have someone who is heading a unit or a department, but there'll be other people who probably may be doing a lot more of the work. But the one at the head gives leadership, gives direction, and you know, steers the entity towards a particular expected end. So I would not link earning or making more money to headship. It's a position that God has created. We have to respect it. And like Mama Cathy said, if you earn more than your husband, that shouldn't make you usurp that role that God has ordained, because then you'll be creating confusion. There has to be order. So the man is positionally the head, and he must exercise that role with the support of the wife. Again, he shouldn't lord it over the wife, you know, because it's a partnership. Marriage is a partnership, but somebody must be head. I mean, if you take, let me give another analogy. If I take, let's say, a board of directors, there'll be a chair, but the other directors are also probably well endowed. They bring a lot to the table, but at the end of the day, they will defer to the chairman, because the chairman is occupying a position, you know. So I think that is how we should see it, that being the head of the family is a position that God has created, and we must make it work. To
successfully get to this point, Mama Cathy, you need to make full disclosure, but that's always a big challenge. How do you begin that?
Full disclosure. You see, when I'm listening to what we're discussing here, I wish we had the ideal situation working in our homes. I wish this discussion will steer us towards respecting what marriage stands for. Full disclosure is supposed to be, because Genesis 2, for those who are Christians, Genesis 2, 24-25, summarizing it says, the two shall be naked and they shall not be ashamed. It's not just about physical nakedness, financial nakedness, psychological nakedness, mental nakedness, spiritual nakedness, nakedness in every ramification. Okay, but full disclosure means I'm not going to keep any information from you. That should be. But then I will not sit down here and blindly say such a thing, probably in a relationship where one hasn't really aligned with what should be. Okay, because I should be able to tell you I'm earning 10,000. My husband should be able to tell me he's earning 20,000. But at the end of the day, marriage brings you to a place where you know just beyond the physical person. You know the character. You know the ability of the person to be able to manage information. You know the ability of the person to stay faithful to this commitment of marriage and all that. But not to belabor the issue, full disclosure is expected. But for those who are not yet married, that's why choice, the person you choose to marry, is very pivotal. Because that person will either assist you to make full disclosure or to withhold information. What if you are married to a woman probably who every lace that passes by, every shoe that passes by, he wants to know. And you discover that if you come and tell her everything that you want to do with your money, she will believe that she first. Okay, so in that case, some of us, our attitude pushes our partners to not wanting to make the full disclosure. What if you're also married to a man that you know that the only truth that he speaks is good morning, and even that good morning you have to check your time whether it's actually morning, because he is so full of lies and deception, and you know that the person is playing double game. There's some clandestine moves. So all these dynamics come into probably giving counsel when you're talking about full disclosure or no full disclosure. You've got to be able to watch the nature of the person you're dealing with.
So even to the counselor, you can hold back sometimes. In terms of, I mean, if I tell you how the person I'm living with is, you would advise me to, okay, hold on to some of the information. There has to be a backup.
No, no, I'm very careful here. I would want to know, if I'm counseling a person, give me the full picture. Okay. By reason of my call and assignment, I should be able to trust God for wisdom to direct you. I know of a particular man that when the wife, I always encourage people to make full disclosure. But then I want to know your peculiar situation, your peculiar marriage. Okay, this gentleman will collect all the salary of the wife because the wife is submitted to he's the head, and then blows it in 2 weeks. Okay, I'm not saying I read from book. Okay, I'm saying, I'm talking about real life here. And so there are children, there are 3 children on ground. There are bills to pick up. There are things to use money for. But you say you are the head, and you take this money, and you blow it for things that are not necessary. And at the end of the day, you throw your family into a pandemonium just because of your carelessness. Will I tell the woman to disclose everything? Because if I do that continuously and there's no there is no change with the other partner that she's dealing with, the children will be exposed to undue hardship, and the family will be in. So you don't need to say, you just need to be wise in such a situation. You just need to be wise. You just will simply need to be wise. So all this dynamic plays in. But the truth of the matter is that where probably like Reverend Odbamitete, who fears God, who truly fears God, and he's the head. If you are the wife, why will you withhold information from him when you know that he has the interest of the family at heart? Why will you? God's intent is that we disclose. There should be full disclosure. But because of the weakness of certain human beings.
Yeah. Reverend, you manage assets. So what's the professional thing to do? Do I carry my money at the end of the money and give you as head so that we put it together? I mean, who keeps it? Do we take a pen and a paper and plan and say, you will do this, I will do this? How should it work?
Okay, so I think, there are a number of approaches. I think to the question you're raising, some people talk about this idea of joint accounts, keeping everything together. Others say, no, let's manage our funds separately. And there's even the hybrid. They say, okay, look, let's create a common joint account. We contribute into it to deal with things, but we keep our own separate account for, things that we want to do for ourselves and maybe our families and so on and so forth. I think that the critical thing is for the couple to have a conversation. How do we want to manage our money? Okay, and would we want to operate the joint account? I am careful not to propose a particular model. I know some people favor maybe one model to the other, but for me, I'd say that it depends on the couple. So I would, if you like, let the couple understand the pros and cons of each, and based on their individual circumstances, and like all the things that Mama Cathy said, the kind of relationship the person has with God and all that, you make a determination as to the best way to manage money. Okay, so assuming you agree that there'll be a joint account, I would assume that you need to make a clear determination on how money will be spent. When I'm talking to people about personal financial planning or planning finances for family, I encourage couples to use, let's say, a budget. And I give this guidance that agree on the things that will go into the budget, and everybody needs to be disciplined to stick with the budget. So if, let's say, we know these are the bills, the
water, electricity, school fees.
Exactly. So once there's a clear way in which the monies will be applied, I don't think that there will be any debate. Okay, so if the two of you can have that conversation and agree that, okay, we're operating a joint account, so this is the formula. If you're operating your own account, but you have a common account, for some, common things, again, you can say that we are contributing into this account. It will go for A, B, C, D, E. Okay. If I'm managing my own money from aside your own, as to, let's say, how I do it, we can say that it's up to you, the individual. But one of the principles I strongly advocate when it comes to managing money, in order not to erode trust, is for there to be transparency, and I believe that I say to men that men should be able to volunteer information, of course, based on the situation. Like Mama Cathy said, if you know the woman has a problem with spending, you have to manage it. They call for wisdom, okay? But I think the underlying principle is the need for transparency and also accountability. Your wife or your husband should be able to ask you, even if you are, keeping your account separately. Okay, so what did you do? I mean, I don't think there's anything. I mean, if we have agreed that we are keeping our money separate, I can say that, oh, I helped this colleague in the office who was in need, or I did this with this amount, and there should be understanding. So really, it's up to how you want to play it. But transparency, to me, is critical, and there must be accountability, okay? And I think if it's there, you'll be able to, navigate your way through this process of managing money, because if there is a problem with the money, you can be sure it can lead to serious trust issues, because you begin to look at, your partner second guessing, and it doesn't augur for a very cordial relationship. Yeah. So there has to be agreement on how we're going to do it, how we are paying the bills, who is paying at what time. Yeah. And and I also say to couples that look at the two of you, who is better placed to manage expenses. Women tend to be very good. They know how to negotiate. They know how to maximize, make a lot out of a little. If your wife has that capability, I think you should allow her to do it. But if the man, you can do a better job managing, then you also do it. So I think you play by your strengths. Okay. And once there's that openness and you know each other, whether it's a joint account situation or you have the common pool, I think you let whoever has got the capability. So in my house, because of the work I do, I know how to manage funds, invest and all that. So clearly I can do a better job. Yeah. So you play by your strength. Sure. I think that's what it is. If you are the head and you don't have, the knowledge, why do you want to do it and then mess things up? Let a woman who may be better placed handle it. But the thing is transparency and accountability. And if once you have the conversation, I think you can go very far.
So, Mama Cathy, why is there so much conflict when it comes to money in marriages, money in relationships, when clearly there's help, there's a way out? Is it because the help is not enough? People simply don't know where to turn to, who to talk to?
I don't think so. I just think it's because of ignorance and people thinking that they know too well and not wanting to access help. And some because of, how do I put it now? Selfish tendencies. Primarily, selfish tendencies. Number three, I mentioned two. Number three, because of our upbringing, maybe what we saw happen to our parents. And we had, from childhood, made up our minds. Nobody will mess up with me like I've seen daddy do with mommy or mommy do with daddy. So, where we come from actually affects how we turn out to be. So at the end of the day, money is very, very crucial in every marriage. But most of the mindset now, negative mindset, if not worked upon, if counsel is not given, if people don't want to learn how to best how to manage it best. At the end of the day, it bounces back. So I'll say ignorance, selfishness, family dysfunction, upbringing dysfunction, and society generally wanting to outsmart your spouse. I think basically these are the things.
And maybe if I might just add, you know, sometimes people go into marriage with what I call the grabbing mentality. You know, and sometimes it's fueled by experiences of other people. So an auntie, when you go, shine your eyes, make sure you grab, you know, and so people go having that mindset. But I tell people that go into marriage with a giving mentality, because you know, the Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive. If everybody, if the husband and the wife come with that giving mentality, you see that you'll be outdoing each other, you know, to give, and it will be a more blessed relationship than when everybody is trying to grab and hide things, you know, from each other. So I think I'll add that to the point that she made, that people go in with a certain mentality which influences the way they behave, and at the end of the day, it doesn't work.
But you know, people can change.
But
and
you know,
indeed, people do change.
People change. And most women now, the generation we live in, we need God seriously. Because most women can't guarantee how long the marriage will last. And so they are thinking you can never know who will come and push you out. So you better get what you can get and then send somewhere. So that if this thing collapses,
if he moves on, if he decides to go and get somebody else, so that I can take care of my children.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So we need to correct the system.
But don't you need a backup plan? Don't you need plan B? Shouldn't you keep something away from him? Should you do him or her? I mean, should you say it all? Should you disclose it all? What if something changes?
You know, I personally, that's me, I personally favor having, you know, running accounts on your own, not having the joint account, okay? And I think that if you have that situation, you should be able to make some investments, and because everybody should have, let's say, a retirement plan. So you should be able to have a retirement fund, you know, and that's how you're managing your money. You can contribute to a common pool. You know, the common pool will, if you like, take care of some common needs of the family. But I think that it's very much okay to manage your own. But I'm very comfortable with disclosure. But disclosure with understanding that, okay, we contribute to a common pool, but I have my own thing. I can tell you what I'm doing, you know, but it's in my name, or it's, I mean, I have access to it, you know, so there shouldn't be any problem. So I'm big on disclosure and transparency, but I'm also big on the fact that it's okay for husband and wife to have their own things, managing it, you know, because, you know, things can change. I agree, you know, and so I think it's okay.
Mama Cathy, is it wrong for me to use my private money, as in the money that I'm earning on the side, to be putting up a project to build a house, for instance, without my husband knowing? And this is a true story. That's what somebody did. It was just plan B for her. She decided to build. It was only by whatever that her husband saw papers of the projects someday when he was rearranging things in the room. But that's like plan B for her, because you can go in with everything, but you never know. Anything could happen.
You see, at the end of the day, it is all founded on distrust. I can be building and letting you know that I'm building. What's the big deal?
Absolutely.
I'm building. I'm letting you know I'm building. I believe that there are certain...
But do I let you know that I'm building, or I discuss with you and we agree that we should build? Can I do things privately?
No, it depends
like
on it depends on the financial ability. It depends on your financial capability. Like you say, the hybrid account is very needful. You contribute to the pool, but I have my side money. I may decide to use my side money to do anything. That has nothing to do with the hybrid account that we have created as a couple to be managing our homes. But then, if with the side money I have, I decide now to build. Marriage is a relationship that there are certain extremes we shouldn't get to. Because when you get to such extremes, without the knowledge of your spouse, you may really create problems for yourself. I can create problems for myself. Let's assume now, we have a hybrid, we are managing our accounts, the children and everything we're taking care of, and when we have my she money, the he money, which you decide to use. But if I'm going into major projects, I should be able to disclose and say, I feel I'm not being unfair to whatever we've agreed to be doing together, but I feel that I should go into this, and this is basically in my name. Why I'm saying that is because I know that what you're sharing now is very true. I have had a scenario where a wife had built a house, and at a point the man had financial difficulties, and the wife had to loan the husband money to rent her house. But the husband didn't know that was the wife's house.
Wow.
And for 2 years, the wife was giving the loan to the husband on a payback basis to rent her house, handed over to an agent. Something happened along the line. Then the husband realized that this house, because the rent was increased after 1 year, and he said, I want to meet the landlord. I want to at least explain my situation, okay? But long and short of it is that it came out that it was the wife's apartment, and the wife was loaning money to take back. So at the end of the day, are you not the one shooting yourself? It's not fair. It's not fair. Things go on. And I think people really need good counsel. Life doesn't end here. We are going to be accountable to God at the end of the day. We are mature. We have the right to take responsibility for our actions, and also to come to whatever opinion we choose to come to. But there is a superior head upstairs that will give account to. And so if a child in such a union realizes that this is what mommy did to daddy, do you believe that a son from that union would trust the wife he marries? So the cycle of all this dysfunction is what is destroying the society. So if you are doing a major project, I know that so many people cannot be trusted now, husbands and wives both the same way. But then there are certain extent you should not get to without divulging the information to your spouse. Not just because you want him to be a part of what you are doing or want her to be a part, but let her have the fair knowledge that this is going on and not discover. Because when one's trust is broken, the marriage is gone.
Absolutely.
The marriage is gone. And you know, you don't judge somebody by where the person is today. The dynamics can change. The story can change. Today you are in control. Do you know things happen? And the power doesn't lie on you again. How will you feel if the power now tilts towards the person you mistreated? So we've got to be careful.
There's a question that we put out, and we're going to play that response in a while. But maybe I can ask, what difference does more money in a marriage, what difference can it make to the marriage itself? I have said, you know, personally, that it can make you outsource a lot of things, because then you can fund, so you don't even care, but it can take something away from the relationship itself.
Well, in terms of what it can take away from the relationship, again, I believe it comes down to the individual's concern. Because my response is that more money will help the marriage situation, because with more money you can get a number of things going. You talked about outsourcing, you talk about education for your children, you talk about even investing to create more wealth, you know, for the family, for the children, even for the next generation. You have more money, you can do your philanthropic activities, or if you're in a church, helping to build the church. So I think more money will reduce the stress, because when there is little money, you find that quarrels even can increase. Somebody will be telling their wife, why did you squeeze the toothpaste from the middle instead of from the base? Because money is not sufficient. You notice unnecessary things. So more money is definitely good. It's how you use the money. Okay. And I think it comes down to your understanding of stewardship. Money, God bless you with it, and you must use it to be a blessing.
Rev will have to leave us at, at exactly 8, but you're talking on this subject that we've picked, and we're feeding on the power and place of money in marriage. And I want you to tell us what the expectation should be.
Well, money is critical. I use this model. I talk about the central marriage system, which is C stands for communication, M stands for money, and then S stands for sex. And I liken it to the central nervous system. And I say to people that if your central nervous system is challenged, then your physical body is challenged.
Communication, money, sex.
Yes. So there are other aspects of marriage, but I believe that these three are core or critical. And as you can see, money is right there in the middle. And money can affect communication, and it can affect sex. So you need to get the right skills on making money and then managing it, because you must make it first, you must grow it, and then you must manage it. And people lack knowledge on how to make money and also how to manage it, you know. And I think those will be coming for this program by the grace of God. From what I've learned these 20 plus years I've been in investment banking, you know, I'll be able to share some nuggets of wisdom that will help people on how to make money and, importantly, manage it in a marriage situation, so that it doesn't create a problem in the marriage, because money can create problems.
All right, that's courtship redefined. The theme is marriage, how prepared. And Reverend is speaking alongside Elder Amos Kevin Annan, who is also our own Amos Kevin Annan. Mrs. Yawa Hansen Kwao and Mama Cathy is hosting that. That will be tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's Saturday, 5th August 2017, the main auditorium, University of Professional Studies, Accra. So we'll see you there, Rev. Rev will take leave of us, but Mama Cathy is still with us. We've got lots of messages. We're going to activate the phone lines as well. But first, let's hear from the responses from people with the questions that we put out to them on this particular conversation. Here we go.
If I have more money in marriage, I'm going to use it to cater for my children, for their upcoming like education and Islamic way, so that they will build for the future. You understand? We have a great life, because money is very good in marriage. You understand? So I think that money is very, very good in marriage. And if I have a lot of money in marriage, I'm going to use it to build my family, especially, and give them education and life.
More money in marriage is very important, but to some extent it's not so important, because we are all human beings from different sides, and we came together to just join and then be one. So at a point, one of us will be more into it than the other. So it will really bring problems. It should be there, but not to be too much.
More money in a marriage, it makes a difference, because like when you have money in a marriage, it helps both you, the parent. Maybe if you don't have money, you can't cater for the children, you know, maybe you need some financial defense, you know, like many things. Maybe if you have more money, you can be able to pay your rent, you know, like all that stuffs. But if you don't have money, you'll not be able to, so like you face challenges.
To me, it doesn't matter, because it has always been my wish to rather push my wife ahead of me, so that wherever she goes, my name comes first before her name. So I just like it that way.
It doesn't matter if my husband earns more. What matters is if there is peace and love. Because the Bible also said that love covereth all things. And where there is love, there is peace.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. If she earns, it's her own way of earning, but it will be that in the way of the interest of the family, so that the money will be stay in the family to cater for the family. Yes.
If like my wife is more than me, like we are married, so whether I have more or my wife have more, it's all the same. Because like if you have children, I'm not the only one who look after the children. Like I'll bring, my wife will also bring, so the two of us will, you know, help each other. So if my wife is more than me, it's okay, like it's not any problem.
If you're just joining us, well, you've missed a lot, but thankfully you can catch up, because this will be uploaded onto our YouTube page, and you can just go to my John line, just scroll down, and then there's a link to the videos. But it's not over. Reverend Daniel Ogbami Tete, who is with Databank Asset Management Services Limited, had to take leave of us, but he left us with a lot of wisdom. We're going to activate the phone line 03022116 9102. But Mama Cathy is still with us. She's CEO of Family Renaissance International. She will share a lot more about what's happening tomorrow as well. Here are some messages on WhatsApp. Hi, can you give full disclosure in marriage? For instance, in the case of Odate Lamte, his wife is trying to get his money for not even having his own children. That's Eben. We're learning from the examples around us, and that can also make us form a certain opinion and take a stance. I get you. And this one says, what happens when the two of you are having a project and the husband uses the materials for the project to build in the mother's house and ask you not to complain because it is for the good of the family? That's also something that's coming up. Here's another one also on WhatsApp that says, I'm Justice in Techiman. I'm really enjoying the topic, and Mama Cathy is actually making my day with her rich experience. Many thanks to her. Thanks, Justice. Here's another one that says, I'm really enjoying the show. I'm a nurse by profession, and my girlfriend is a business lady. She has been demanding for money all the time to keep the business moving, and if anything I didn't get it for her, then she'll tell me she's going to get it elsewhere from a different man. I'm depressed and don't know what to do. Okay, the one more, two more. This one says, okay. Oh, okay. That's this. Very interesting and important discussion, but unfortunately my marriage is on the rocks, partly because of this issue. Atagowe in Bogatanga sending that message. I'll just, we'll listen to Inusa Isahaku from one, and we'll pause with the calls and come back and address the issue. Inusa, good morning. Thanks for your call.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself? We thank God. Please, let's hear you.
In terms of money and marriage, there is good. But in this current generation, I must be honest and sincere. If I have my money, but like sharing an account with my wife, there is very difficult. It's something I will never do.
Okay.
If I'll take the responsibility as a Muslim, how God asks us to do things in the right way.
Okay.
By sharing my account with her, it's something I will never do because, for example, I have a class, especially when it comes to this current generation, not like our mothers. This current generation, most of the women, they are not trustworthy. Today is good.
Including the one you're with? Is it the same thoughts that you...
100%. Even though she's a human being, so it's not that I don't...
Okay.
When I say I don't trust, it's not by 100%. Right?
Okay. But it's working for you just fine. I mean, it's working for you just fine. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we're corporate well because we share ideas, all manner of things. But what I'm saying is that because I've seen friends experiencing some, like today, everything is going on well. The following day, because of money issues, maybe the person was working and then unfortunately on his back.
Yeah.
Okay. More working, then the lady starts bringing out issues, or he gets an accident. You are not able to work, then you see money issues. Okay. Meanwhile, the person also thinks that his endless high, he's just bringing issues that he's taking bail, all those things. All right. So because of that, I'm saying that. Okay. Inusa, thank you very much for sharing. You know, the unique thing about marriage is, in fact, it's unique. Everybody and what suits them once it works. Emmanuel, and then we'll go to Mama Cathy. Emmanuel is joining us from Ho. Emmanuel, thanks for your call. Let's hear you, please. Hello, Emmanuel? Hello? Okay. Yes. Emmanuel, turn down the volume on your television sets.
Yeah, good morning.
Please. Good morning. Please go ahead.
Yes. In the topic we are discussing this morning. Yes. Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear, but you have to turn down the volume on your television sets. I did so. Okay, all right. Thank you. Please, I can hear you. Go on. Yes, I'm saying that the topic we are discussing this morning. Hello? Emmanuel, please go ahead. I can hear you. Go on. Yes, I'm saying the discussion we are having this morning is a very good one. Okay, thank you. Let me share something and to see whether the advice probably you can give out. Okay? All right. Is it good to be in a marriage, okay, and that your spouse is earning, but you will not tell you exactly what she is using her money for? He's trying to keep all this information from you. When you ask, how much are you earning? It seems not to be tell. Initially, that person used to do so, but now seems to be keeping those things from you.
Okay.
Is it good for your partner to be doing such activity? Secondly, assuming that man you are undertaking a project, which will be to the benefit of the two of you. Okay. Now, your partner seems not to be interested in supporting you to undertake that project. What is the implication?
Okay. All right. Emmanuel from Hope, thanks a lot for this. We'll come back to your phone calls. But Mama Cathy, you've heard a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can start with Emmanuel.
Withholding information.
Yes.
It's what we've discussed. If he had tuned in earlier, it's just what we've discussed. People withhold information not because some of them would have withheld, but because of what is filtering in the system, because of fear, because of the lack of trust, because of the lack of, because of not knowing what will happen in the future. So I believe that communication is vital. He shouldn't be offended. He should rather sit the wife down and ask the wife why she will withhold information with regards to her finances. Until you are able to win the heart of a person and get to know why the person thinks and acts the way the person thinks and acts, passing judgment will be an error. And I think that married couples should come to a place where they find out why people do what they do. And the people that this information is being fished out from them should be transparent. But then the other party has a role to play to create an atmosphere where your spouse can trust you with information. Because you'll be shocked why people do what they do. You'll be so shocked. When I got to know what the Bible says that about this issue, I shuddered. It says, who are you to judge another man's servant? To the master he either stands or falls. That is so loaded. Because how I react in my marriage, how I behave in my marriage, how I see things, my perception, if I'm not truly grounded in God, is based on the lenses I saw the world through, even before I got into marriage. And we are still associating with people. Experiences come from left, right, and center.
Yeah.
The wife may misconstrue his love to meaning he just wants her money and then have her antennas up. Let me share a particular example with you. I went somewhere, I just wanted to take a rest. I was a bit stressed. So normally breakfast ends in the hotel around 10. So I didn't want to eat, but something in me compelled me that before they shut the buffet, the breakfast stuff, I should go there and eat. So I decided to drag myself to the restaurant around a few minutes to 10, and I sat down there. And as I sat, a lady came in who they were holding a conference in that hotel. And so she actually came in a bit late. That was a few minutes after 10. And she said, can I join you? I said, oh, that's okay. She joined, and we got talking. She worked in one of the best places in the world, here in Ghana, the office in Ghana. I wouldn't mention, okay? Okay, there's no problem. World Bank, okay? And she sat in front of me, and we started talking. And she opened up on a few things. And what was it about? The husband had requested that his car engine was down, and that he want to, it goes for $500 equivalent, and that he was hard up with money. She should send the money, and they are married, they have children, and she sent the money to him. But unknown to the husband, the fitter had gone to look for the spec of the engine and couldn't, and was trying his number and couldn't get across to him. So their last bet was to call the wife to find out where Oga was. And now finds out and gets the wife and say, oh, I've gone to the market, I've looked for this engine, I can't find blah, blah, blah. He said, why? Then the fitter he said, what car engine? What? And he mentioned the spec. The engine of the car was the engine of the husband's girlfriend. I'm not saying I read, I said, and this woman broke down with all the gold, with all this thing. She was so broken and wounded, she wept like a baby. She didn't even have money, she borrowed money.
So she was funding.
She was funding. I said, this is a man that will not even take care of me. Broken down vehicle. Something he will not do. So you see, I always advise people, don't jump into conclusions when you hear people take the position they take. Pray for them and try to break into their heart to know why they act or behave the way they do. So many people have caused a lot of confusion and pain in the heart of other people. That now the resultant effect is that the cycle is producing a lot of distrust, a lot of pain, a lot of holding back, just because they don't want to be treated like, let's assume the woman was talking to somebody who wasn't mature like myself. What do you think that would have done to me? I would never have been open to my husband again because I think all men are the same. But I can't think like that. But by reason of my calling, okay, I am here to tell, like this Emmanuel that called from home. Emmanuel, you may not know where your wife came from. You don't know all the details. You don't know who your wife associates with. You don't know what her fears had been. The best is not to take a front. Okay, I'll show you that I'm the man for doing this. No, don't do that. Go back to prayers and say, God, melt the heart of my wife so that she can open up and share her fears with me. And when she shares that fear, help me to be able to pull her from the pit she is in to the place where there'll be harmony and understanding in our marriage.
Amazing. The story you shared, that's an incredible, I can't get over it myself, honestly. But other people have also sent messages, and somebody sadly said because of this issue that we're talking about, his marriage is already gone. Can you revive something like that?
Yes, you can. It can be so revived you don't have an idea. And I always tell people, if you want a marriage that had been broken down by every sense of the word to be revived, it doesn't start with the other person. It starts with you. Whoever realizes that there could be hope out of the hopelessness. Because God doesn't work with two people. He works with the stronger one who can trust him for wisdom to go about what had been destroyed. And so what do I say? If a woman has a situation where there's distrust, where everything the husband, let's use this, I don't know whether the message came from a lady or a man.
I think it was a man.
Okay, whichever one. Please, I want you to realize that the heart of every man, the Bible says the heart of the king is in his hands. And so if the king's heart is in God's hands, I don't know how many of us are married to kings and queens. If God can handle a king and a queen, God can handle your spouse. But what you need to do is, first of all, take your own self to God and say, God, I have not been perfect. I have not done everything right. Help me to forgive me and give me ability to forgive my spouse for everything that he or she has done that has caused me pain. Pray for the heart of the person and then seek counseling, professional counseling. If it's in Accra, we are available. I have seen marriages that were 360 degrees the other side come right back because of godly information. Therapy is good, psychology is good, I practice all of that. But there is a grace that comes and produces wisdom that can lead somebody. Because one day we'll give account of our lives. And the best is to help people get themselves back to the right path.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Abdul Moment, Dawood is in Tekshiman. Abdul Moment, good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Please, let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning again. Go ahead.
Please, I want to contribute into your program.
Please do.
Please, your program is a nice program. And in fact, I'm coming to help my brother, one of our brothers. You know, in Islam, you have to trust your wife for the first place. That's why when you go to the Quran chapter 4, verse 34, you see the Quran is telling us that the men are the protectors and maintenance of the women. Yes, that we have to do all this. We have to pay, whether they have money or they don't have. Men are to sweat and help the women. In Islam, that's how it is. We have to pay. But for the first place, the women are also to guide the man's property. So how will your wife guide your property? So your wife should know the amount you have, the money you have down, for her to be able to guide them. So you have to trust your wife and let your wife know all that you have. So even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was the wife who do help him all that he has been doing. So please, it's all about you trusting your wife. Let her know all that is disturbing you. If we have an instance where a man was going out, the Prophet told us, anytime you leave the house, let your wife know all that is going on. So he was leaving the house. He told the wife that I'll be going in the afternoon. I'll let you, I'm going, and this and that. She did not inform him her about a particular thing. So he was there later. A chief came in and said, your husband said I should come in for this and that. And the wife said, no. Every day, whatever I discuss with my husband, we do it in the morning before my husband leaves the house. So the man went away, and later when the husband came, he asked, did you ask somebody to come and do this? Then the man said, no.
Oh, that's very good pointers that you were sharing there. Even though we lost you, your points is well made. We thank you for sharing. Ebenezer texting is in Cape Coast. Aben, good morning. Hello, Aben. We seem to have lost Ebenezer texting, was joining us from Cape Coast. Aben, are you on? Oh, we lost you. Apologies. You held on for a while, but you can call us right back. Mama Cathy, there are people who are asking for a contact number to reach you. So if there's a number that we can share towards the end of this conversation, we will. But we'll also tell you about what is happening tomorrow. If you want to meet her, it will be a good place to do so. Or Sebo at Banco says you're enjoying the show. Share the same accounts with my wife will not be possible because what I heard from others, other elderly personalities, it will be difficult for me to do that. This one from Ali in Obuase sending this message. Okay, and the WhatsApp number is for sending messages only. Let's stick to that. Ali says it is good for the counselors established school to do in-service training for prospective couples for months, do evaluation after marriage for about 5 years before they leave to become independent. This one says, hi Mama V, my girlfriend always tells me she doesn't feel comfortable but rather uncomfortable whenever she's not having money. What should I do with her? Here's another one, says, can marriage be revived after I guess after it breaks up, if your wife attempted to kill you when she was caught holding a knife on you? Abdullah Nakpachi, not exactly the conversation that we're having, but this is as important. Maybe when we give you the number, you can call Mama Cathy later on. Okay, so quite a good number of people wanting a contact number to get in touch. Let's speak to Ajeni Mbwate in Kumasi. Then I'll come to you, Idris. Yusuf, but first, Ajeni Mbwate, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, like you are rightly saying, communication in marriage is very, very essential. From what you discussed so far this morning, my wife was sitting down here complaining. Meanwhile, we used to pray in the evening before we go to bed and do the light. Now, what she does is to watch Kunkum Bagya. And we'll be watching this Kunkum Bagya, and then I'll go and pick my daughter to pray, then she becomes angry that I have been this time I've ignored her and been praying with my daughter.
Well, Ajeni Mbwate, you don't enjoy watching it alongside with her?
No.
Okay.
I'm not interested, because that is the time that you join news from 7 to 9 o'clock.
You're watching the news?
No, they hijack the TV for Kunkum Bagya, so I have nothing to do again.
Okay. Listen, I'm laughing about it, but is it bringing serious trouble in your home?
I'm leaving this morning. I came from school last week, and I'm leaving this morning. I came here on Sunday, and I'm leaving this morning. And now she's complaining that I've just devoted my life to my little girl who is 3 months old, and she's ignoring her. Meanwhile, she knows definitely that what she does is quite wrong.
Have you talked about it? Have you talked about it?
She's complaining here. When she's listening to you right now this morning, she's complaining and I have to call you. And she said that when I call her, she won't talk. That's what she told me. But when I call, she's not going to talk.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Just hang up. Put the volume really up very high. Mama Cathy will speak to her. What's her first name, please?
She's Sandra.
Okay. Sandra, we are on your case. Thank you very much, Ajeni Mbwate, who's calling us from Kumasi. Idris Yusuf from Wa, good morning. Hello, Idris. Idris, good morning. Okay, Idris is not on. Mama Cathy, over to you. Hello, Idris.
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Oh, okay, sorry. I almost skipped you, but let's hear you. Please go ahead. Oh, now we've lost you. Apologies. Mama Cathy.
Sandra. Sandra, how many times did I call you?
Twice.
Your husband doesn't stay with you. He comes visiting. Yes, I know that you like the telenovela. I believe that's what it is. I don't watch those things.
It's on our sister station.
Oh,
Bagia. It's hot.
I don't know. I don't watch any of those stuff. But you see, I will not also discourage you from watching. But I believe that in marriage, there should be give and take. A few compromises here and there just to make the marriage work. So please, when he comes, try and give him a little bit of attention and then play around him a little bit. And for the husband, don't take a hard stance, because women also rebel when you take a very hard stance. You are supposed to woo after her. Okay, so if she's watching, you can put in 5 minutes and say, okay, you know what, I don't like this telenovela. Just because I love you, I'll give you 5 minutes. That way, woman, you've given her a whole year of love. So play the game very well, so that it doesn't look as if when it is what you like, you give full attention to. When it is what she also likes, you disregard and speak disdainfully about. There must be give and take. Let the wife also, if he loves news, tell your husband, oh, baby, I don't like news, but because I love you, I also will have to listen for 5 minutes. I believe when you begin to do one or two of these things, you will realize that love will come back, because I don't want the father loving the daughter against the wife, or the wife loving the daughter against, no, don't do that, because children grow up to see the atmosphere between the parents. So don't transfer the love that is meant for your spouse to your child. Let the child be treated fairly, but let the love between the two of you be stronger. So as the child opens his or her eyes, he will see a stronger relationship between the two of you. Both, whatever you love is good, whether it's news or telenovela is good, but just give attention to what is important to both sides.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. You said it so well. All right, so, we have to pause where, the phone lines and then also the messages. We have to talk about what's happening tomorrow, and then you give a number, because a lot of people want to get in touch with you.
Yeah, tomorrow is a day that I believe heaven will touch down the earth when it comes to marriage. Now, we have been married for about 25 years, but I don't do this because of my years of marriage. I do this because of my calling. And I have seen and heard sordid stories about marriage. Most of the people get into marriage without due preparation. You can never enjoy marriage until you have given due preparation before, prior to the marriage. I love what the young man said. I think one of the guys called and said, establish an institute. Yes. We started it about 4 years ago. I started something like that, ran 2 sessions. But because of the limitation of space, I want to ultimately, as the Lord permits, start a school that is purely to train people on marriage. Because whatever we are talking about, change in leadership in Africa, change in the systems, it will never work until marriage works. Because marriage is the basic unit that churns out the people that make up the society. So you can never work on the bigger society when marriage has been broken down.
The foundation.
The foundation has been broken down. So tomorrow we are having this thing we're just starting. It's dubbed Courtship Redefined. Because speaking with most unmarried people, you discover that during courtship, they don't really know what to look into. It's kiss me, touch me, have sex with me, and you didn't tell me I love you, all those foolish things. They won't take you anywhere. If you like, have sex every minute during courtship. When you enter and you have not laid your bed well, you'll be shocked that the sex will become like stone. Okay, so tomorrow we are bringing 3 facilitators together with myself. Reverend Ogbamitete that just left. Elder Kelvin Annan, who is a familiar face here, fantastic man. Yes. And then Yawa Hansen Coyle, a licensed practitioner when it comes to etiquette, grooming, and personal, body, taking care of your bodies and all that. So we are doing that, and the theme is marriage, how prepared. Marriage, how prepared. We are going to look at 4 very important topics. Number 1 is the challenges marriage will encounter if the preparations were not right. Okay. And I want to really read, probably just go through it and want the listeners to listen to. Leading causes of challenges in marriage. Number 1, leading causes of challenges in marriage. That is Elder Annan who handle that. Okay. Effect of negative family and personal traits. I am going to handle that. That is looking at the tree the family tree and checking divorce, delayed marriage, pregnancy, not coming on time, delayed pregnancy, poverty, sickness, infidelity, all these are in our family trees. How do we check that family tree such that when we enter, the stories of our family will not become our stories in the marriage? So I handle that effect of negative family tree. The place and power of money. Reverend Obama handles that. Personal grooming and etiquette, Yawak Hanson handles that. But apart from these 4 major areas, we are going to break up into brainstorming sessions. Okay. Where we are going to be looking at how do you manage a long distance marriage? Okay. If you happen to be married and you find yourself there. How do you also manage a person if you get a proposal from a man or a woman who already has a child or children? I'm not saying. So how do you manage a relationship that somebody is coming in with children? For women who have children, I'm not even talking about divorced people. I'm talking about those who, one mistake or the other, they had children. Most men will say, I can't marry a woman because she already has a child or 2. And I say, are you running away from the child you see? How about the 20 you have not seen that were aborted? Do you judge a woman because of the children that you see? Okay, so we're looking at that and we're brainstorming that. We're also looking at the effect of social media, in-laws, friends, and all that. How will you manage that such that those do not destroy?
This is very detailed.
Oh, yes, it's so detailed. Friends, family, in-laws, social media, telephone, and all those stuff. We are going to brainstorm on that. And then we are also, there are a number of these things, and you choose, you brainstorm, come and let's see how we can work through all of this, the dynamics, before you say, I do.
Wow.
And it is meant to bring people who are cutting together, people who are dating, so that even at that event tomorrow, you can say, okay, we were not meant to be married. This event has opened our eyes. We were meant to be friends. I beg you, let's break up. Because 2 cannot work together except they be agreed. And most of the problem is that we did not understand who we were partnering with. And we enter marriage and you say the person has changed. Nobody changes in marriage. It's just that you didn't notice those things. And then the rate is only 80 Ghana cedis because it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are going to be providing lunch. And then I came with a copy of my book. Secrets to Surviving Your Early Years of Marriage. That comes as a free a part of the package is free. Every person that comes, yes, when you come to the seminar, you have this book, Secret to Overcoming Your Early Years of Marriage. And then the facilitating, then there'll be questions and answers. And at the end of the day, we are going to break, because you can be everything, but you will come from a background that the demons, they have horns. And they say that nobody will stay married. If you like, be angel, they will look for something to destroy. And so we're going to raise a prayer session where those foundations will be dealt with. It's tomorrow morning. I'm going to give a number to call. I want people, pay your transport, take night buses from whichever region you are. I have a burden to see your marriage work. I have seen people die prematurely because of marital problems. I have seen people develop high blood pressure because of marital problems. Most of the cancer cases, may not be all, is because free radicals in the body, because of emotional pain. These things are, people are breaking out. Children are disillusioned. I've met children that sit with me, they are on drugs 24/7. They inject themselves. You ask 99% of them, most of them, is because of the atmosphere at home. When parents are fighting, they don't know that the repercussion is on their children. And so I want the unmarried generation to know tomorrow at UPS, University of Professional Studies, Legon, from 9 a.m. on the dot to 5 p.m. It's a loaded program. Actually, what I wanted to do and what God told me to do was put 6 months counseling, premarital counseling, into a day's crash program. 6 months. And it's not church. I'm doing this because I want Ghana to produce men who will not just be noted as success stories at work. Women who will not just be given an award as the best staff at work. People who are not just earning money because of fat businesses they are doing. But people who, at the end of the day, there will be the reason Ghana will be better, because their homes will be better by the marriages they run. Join me tomorrow. The numbers to call to register, because you've got to register, please. We have limited space left now. I promise that I will do something. The cost is 80 cedis.
Yes.
I wanted to give the first 10 people that will call the number
a discount?
A discount.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, 10 people that will give. I'll give you 20% discount. You get the book, you get lunch, you get all the things, but 20% discount. Please call 0261 0261 601 816. I take the number again, 0261 601 816 or 0242 221 881. 0242 221 881. If somebody wants to reach me, I don't know, I don't do this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because but if they call the numbers that
you've call the numbers that I've given somehow you get to me.
Okay. All right.
I'm begging you, permit me to do that because I'll die before my time. If I put it out there. But whoever, the people you're calling are around me. Book an appointment, I'll speak with you. I can even give you my number off after that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yeah. But thank you so much. Thank you. This is deep. We've had a very fruitful conversation on this, and I think that all of us have learned one thing or the other. So thank you so much for your time. We wish you well with the program tomorrow. Amen. It's my prayer that a lot of people will come and then the way will be clear for them from the sessions.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you. I have a very important dedication to make. It's your birthday today. Margaret Amasam. Who am I to call you Margaret Amasam? So Auntie Margaret Amasam, happy birthday to you. You are in Kaswa, in Sawem Road Church of Christ. That's your church. We wish you God's blessings and thanks for being a wonderful mother to us. That's from my producer, Derek Ekosam. It's your mother's birthday, Auntie Margaret Amasam. It's also from Daddy, Derek Ekosam, and all the sisters. So we wish you a happy, happy birthday. And I wish Michaela and myself could come and have lunch tomorrow because we know that there's abundance of food in your home. So maybe we'll just be there. But enjoy your birthday, Mom. Thank you so much. Enjoy your birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Stay with us. You're watching the AM show.